Good morning and hello everyone. My name is Muhammad Rahman bin Muhammad Tarmizi and my student number ID is 2024652898. Today, me and my team will be presenting about our assignment 1 that is about economic policies and their impact on Malaysia's construction industry for QSA 206 that is Construction Law 2.
Introduction of Construction Economics. Definition of Construction Economics. Construction economics applies economic principles specifically to the construction industry to enhance cost management, resource allocation, and project success. Key stakeholders. It guides stakeholders, including developers, contractors, and consultants, in making informed decisions regarding feasibility, budgeting, and efficient use of finite resources such as labor, materials, land, and capital. Resource allocation. Construction economics supports efficient use of limited resources such as labor, materials, land, and capital. Industry and national impact. The field extends beyond individual projects to analyze industry-wide and national-wide impacts, recognizing construction as a key driver of economic growth, employment, infrastructure development. Integration and technology. By integrating consideration of technology, construction economics supports environmentally responsible practices and long-term value creation within the sector. Focus on sustainability. Construction economics includes sustainability, promoting environmentally responsible practices and long-term value creation within construction sector. Overview of fiscal policy. Definition of fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is the government's strategic use of taxation and spending to influence economic activity, aiming to stabilize growth, control inflation, and reduce unemployment. Expansionary fiscal policy increases government spending or cuts taxes to stimulate demand, especially during economic downturns. Contractionary fiscal policy reduces spending or raises taxes to curb inflation and overheating economy. Neutral fiscal policy balances spending and tax revenue to maintain economic stability without impacting growth. Objective: macroeconomic stabilization, managing inflation and unemployment to stabilize the macroeconomy. Objectives: economic growth and redistribution, promoting sustainable economic growth and development through infrastructure and social investment. Redistributing income to reduce poverty and inequality, achieving external balance in the country's financial interactions. Fiscal policy's impact on Malaysian construction industry. Infrastructure spending. Government investment in infrastructure projects directly increase demand for construction services, materials, and labor. Taxation changes, adjustments such as the introduction of the sales and services tax (SST), influence on operational costs, impacting profitability for developers and contractors. Project viability increases borrowing costs due to government fiscal measures can affect the feasibility of development projects. Lastly, economic cycles. Construction activity is sensitive to fiscal expansions or contractions, with expansionary policies generally boosting momentum, while contractionary measures can lead to slowdowns and project delays.
Next is overview of monetary policy. First, monetary policy formulated in Malaysia was formulated and implemented by Bank Negara Malaysia, that is BNM. It involved regulating money, supply and credit conditions to maintain macroeconomic stability. Second is impact on economy. Monetary policy directly influences interest rates, borrowing costs, liquidity and economic confidence. Third is expansionary monetary policy. It lowers the interest rates to encourage borrowing and investment, stimulating economic activity including the construction projects. And fourth is the contractionary monetary policy. It raises interest rates to control inflation, which increase financing costs, potentially slowing construction demand and project initiation. And lastly, effect on construction sector. The monetary policy stance significantly impact the construction sector's access to financing and overall growth. Next is monetary policy tools and effects on constructions. First, overnight policy rate, that is OPR, influences commercial banks' lending rates for housing, commercial properties, and construction financing, thereby yielding borrowing costs and investment decision. Second is statutory reserve requirement. It mandates banks to hold a portion of deposits, impacting liquidity and credit availability. And lastly, open market operations. It involves buying and selling government securities to regulate money supply and control liquidity.
Okay, thank you Rahmat for that point. Now we are going to discuss about national development plans. National development plans in Malaysia represent coordinated, long-term government strategies that aim at achieving sustainable economic growth for social equity and infrastructure advancement. These plans set national goals and align resources between public and private sector as well. That means the plans promote inclusive development by narrowing regional and social disparities. With that being said, they encourage balanced growth that benefit both the country and its population by improving living standard and economic opportunities. For example, in Malaysia's series of 5-year Malaysia plans, it illustrates that this structured framework guide for resources allocation, infrastructural investment, and policy direction towards more sustainable national progress. For the next, we are going to talk about the effect of national development plans on construction sector. Now to start with, the effect of national development is long-term infrastructure project that stabilize the growth, which is by providing demand certainty through long-term infrastructure project. Then, reducing poverty and social imbalances. By reducing poverty and social imbalances, via plans like the new economic policies and recent Malaysia plans, which focusing on sustainable development, public transportation, and urban infrastructure.
Effect of national development plans on construction sector. Technology advancement and skill development. Encouraging technology advancement and nurturing local construction professionals and contractors. Past-pandemic economic recovery priorities. Adjusting post-pandemic economic recovery through the 12th Malaysian Plan with priorities and inclusive growth, digital transformation, and resilient infrastructure.
For the fifth one is supporting economic transformation. Supporting the transformation from agriculture based to diversify industrial economy with infrastructure such as highway, ports, and urban development. And lastly, fostering economic diversification and sustainability. These efforts collectively foster economic diversification, social equity, and sustainable urban expansion. That's all.
In conclusion, essential role in sustainable development. Construction economics is essential to Malaysia's sustainable economic, developed by providing frameworks for effective cost management, resource allocation, and informed policy support. Focus on sustainability and technology, emphasizing sustainability and technological advancement, further enhances competitiveness and resilience. Integration with national policies, sector integration with fiscal and monetary policies alongside strategic national development planning strengthens its capacity to drive growth, innovation, and employment. Lastly, future outlook. With continued policy alignment and investment, Malaysia's construction industry will remain a critical engine of national progress and economic stability.